Everyone knows movies are just made-up stories to entertain the masses. We laugh at our favorite comedies, cry at heartfelt dramas, and bask in wonder at science fiction special effects. It's arguably the best thing to do on a Friday night. Rarely, however, do we sit and wonder if the movie we're watching can predict the future. Sometimes science fiction films dabble in making up futuristic possibilities, but most of the time they're dead wrong. Like teleportation devices. We're still waiting around for those. Believe it or not, there have been quite a few movies to predict the future with scary accuracy. At the time, no one batted an eye at it, but hindsight is 2020. We know better now. Are you curious about what movies can see into the unknown? Well, I'm Mike with List 25, and here are 25 movies that predicted the future.
#25.
Starship Troopers. No, giant alien bugs haven't invaded our galaxy, so thank goodness for that. But the technology in Starship Troopers did somewhat accurately portray what the future might look like, including FaceTime video calls, online computer ads, and even large-scale modern wars out in the desert.
#24.
Atom. Standing for Automated Domestic Appliance Monitor, or ADAM, this television movie revolved around a smart home with a penchant for romance and jealousy. Right now, smart homes are just getting started with Amazon's Alexa, Google Home, and the Nest thermostat. Hopefully none of these devices will turn on us.
#23.
Escape from New York. Escape from New York's prediction of the future is pretty much all wrong, except the use of holograms. We totally figured out how to use holograms, so for that, they get a point.
#22.
The Day After Tomorrow. In The Day After Tomorrow, ocean currents stopped due to global warming, creating massive storms and a new ice age across the northern hemisphere. Turns out, new scientific studies from the Scripps Institution of Oceanography at the University of California, San Diego have shown there is evidence this could happen very soon.
#21.
Rufus Jones for President. Released in 1933, Rufus Jones for President is about an African-American boy who's elected President of the United States, predicting the election of Barack Obama.
#20.
The Terminator. While we haven't figured out how to time travel yet, or so we think anyway, the Terminator predicted the use of unmanned aerial drones. As we speak, the US military is using drones all over the world, and some have been programmed to recognize an intent of another aircraft. It's probably not long before they're allowed to attack.
#19.
1984. In the movie 1984, based on the book by George Orwell, people are controlled by a totalitarian state and distracted by a never-ending war. With the war against terror still raging, the new details coming to light about the NSA spying on citizens, and the constant flood of fake news today, I think it's safe to say 1984 is scarily accurate.
18.
Jetsons, the movie. While we don't have hover cars just yet, Jetsons predicted things like automated vacuum cleaners, digital newspapers, and video calls.
17.
Weird Science. In Weird Science, two hormonal adolescent boys printed out a woman using a computer and cutouts from a Playboy and other magazines. Today, we have 3D printers. No, they can't print out life-size women, but they can make a firearm.
16.
Until the End of the World. Until the End of the World may not have done too well at the box office in 1991, but its predictions of the future are eerily specific. It foretold how addicted we would become to Skype, iPads, flat-screen televisions, and search engines.
15.
I Am Legend. I Am Legend kinda, sorta predicted the release of Batman v Superman. It's just not the Zack Snyder version. The story goes that Akiva Goldsman already had a script for a Batman vs Superman movie, but Warner Brothers decided to go with Nolan's version instead. Goldsman wrote the screenplay for I Am Legend and was able to include the logo in the movie while Will Smith was hunting inside the city.
14.
Return of the Jedi. While Star Wars Return of the Jedi is set in a galaxy far, far away, that doesn't mean it can't predict our future. How, you say, did it do that? 2 words. Hoverbikes. They're real. technically the hover bikes on the Forest Moon of Endor are way more awesome than what we have, but that doesn't mean the technology doesn't exist.
13.
Enemy of the State. A spy thriller plot about illegal government surveillance isn't exactly a new idea. However, if one movie correctly predicted the world we live in years from now, Enemy of the State gets it almost all right. From the NSA hacking into citizens' phones and computers to watching people through a myriad of cameras, all of these notions were considered fantasy in 1998. However, today, it's all too real.
12.
Dick Tracy. It was only a matter of time before we got a telephone watch like Dick Tracy predicted. Lo and behold, smartwatches were invented, and we can do exactly what Dick Tracy did so long ago. Somehow, he made it look way cooler.
11.
Jurassic Park. Okay, so technically, we don't have a theme park with real-life dinosaurs roaming about. However, Jurassic Park did predict we'd get the technology to do it. Right now, scientists are on the verge of resurrecting the woolly mammoth.
10.
Her. Her is about a man who fell in love with his personal computer and detailed a near-future world where people use their personal assistants on a frequent basis to help them with everything. Right now, that's happening with new developments in AI technology, such as Alexa, Cortana, Siri, and Google.
9.
Westworld. First released in 1973, Westworld is about people who go to live out their fantasies in the Wild West, complete with robots to help them carry it out. Recently, Disney announced they would be building an immersive Star Wars theme park, putting people into the world of Star Wars. Guests will be required to wear Star Wars-themed clothes, and a unique journey will be provided as well.
8.
Wag the Dog. In the movie Wag the Dog, the President of the United States is thrust into a scandal where he's accused of groping a Girl Scout in the Oval Office. The movie was released weeks before the Monica Lewinsky Clinton scandal broke out. What's even more ironic is the writer of the film tried to think of something that would never happen in real life.
7.
Game of Death. Game of Death stars Bruce Lee and is about an actor shooting a movie. In the movie, a stunt goes wrong on set and a prop gun turns out to be a real loaded gun and accidentally shoots Bruce Lee's character. Putting aside this movie was posthumously released 5 years after Bruce Lee's death, though that alone is kinda messed up, it predicted what would happen to Brandon Lee, Bruce Lee's son, on the set of The Crow in 1993.
6.
A Clockwork Orange. A Clockwork Orange is a futuristic dystopian movie where a city is plagued by gangs and violence from the nihilistic youth. It predicted a future where the older generation sat around watching television while the youth ran around committing all sorts of evil. It also featured a prison where criminals could be released if they undergo a brainwashing experiment. While prisons today haven't sunk to levels that low, it was revealed recently that prisoners at a Tennessee prison could get reduced jail time if they got a vasectomy.
5.
Gremlins 2, A New Batch. The setting for Gremlins 2, A New Batch was Clamp Tower. Yes, the parody of Trump Tower. And it was so futuristic it had automatic doors, lights, and everything else. Of course, it all went horribly wrong, and nothing ever worked correctly. It's not the first smart home prediction, but it was worth mentioning.
4.
Children of Men. In the gripping movie Children of Men, the world is in chaos from a plague of infertility. Women can't get pregnant, causing people to believe they don't have a future. While no, we haven't reached levels that drastic, studies have shown from 1970 to 2014, fertility rates around the world have made a dramatic decline.
3.
RoboCop. While RoboCop didn't get everything right, like the fact that we don't even have RoboCops yet, it did predict facial recognition technology, robotic prosthetics, and the fact that Detroit would end up a bankrupt and crime-ridden city.
2.
Hackers. Yeah, everyone knows Hackers is a really cheesy movie, but it still predicted much of the future we live in today. From the weak passwords everyone uses, I'm looking at you, person who uses password, to the global alliance of hackers, the movie had a keen intuition on the future world of cybercrime.
1.
Gattaca. The genetically modified human dystopia in Gattaca thankfully hasn't happened yet. However, one thing it got totally right was the ability to order an at-home DNA testing kit to check out your genetic health risks. You can totally do that today. Enjoying our lists? Be sure to click that subscribe button in the bottom right so you don't miss out on new ones every Monday through Friday. Share them with your friends and help us consistently conciliate curiosity. And if you want even more lists, check out these 3 videos here or just head to our website at list25.com.